All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to the December 19th, Tuesday NHL breakdown for the 11-game slate tonight on FanDuel and DraftKings, brought to you by SHIPIT.com. If you are not a member, head over to SHIPIT.com. Use promo code MAYO, gets you 10% off for life, any package you choose. If not, just hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Helps us out a ton. We got 11 games on tap tonight. Pretty good slate overall. Going to talk through it. Got a 7 total in Edmonton and New York. Obviously, a bunch of 6.5 totals, and then 1 5.5 total there in Minnesota and Boston. We'll talk about that a little bit, and then as always, talk my favorite stacks, talk some value plays at each position, talk some favorite goalies. But as always, all my final content, slate play, and core plays will be live for SHIPIT Nation subscribers over on SHIPIT.com. Without further ado, let's jump right into tonight's slate here. Let's start with the chalk of the slate here. Kings minus 260 road favorites facing San Jose. We know the deal with San Jose here. Best matchup on the board for DFS purposes. Give up a ton of goals here. Kings coming off a 3-2 win last game against Seattle 3 nights ago in Seattle, where they righted the ship after a 3-game losing streak there. I like them to keep the momentum rolling here. Really like the second line here tonight for the Kings. Kevin Fiala, Philip Deneau, and Trevor Moore. Really like that second line overall for the Kings. Prefer the second line to the top line here tonight. But I do think you can obviously play the top line and Kopitar, Byfield, and Adrian Kemp. Really like this power play matchup as well. Kings 6th best road power play in the league. At home ice, the Sharks kill off just 75% of their penalties. They give up the 3rd most penalties against in the league per game as well. So if you really want to go in on the Kings, Adrian Kemp, Kopitar, Kevin Fiala, Drew Doughty, and Quentin Byfield is that top power play unit. All great plays. Byfield 4.6K. Drew Doughty continues to be way too cheap here. Gets the best matchup on the slate against D-men. So Drew Doughty, 4.8K, one of the best D-men plays on the slate. So Kings, obviously, chalk of the slate for a good reason. Get a great matchup here on the road against San Jose. Another team I have interest in here is the Coyotes on home ice here against Ottawa. Ottawa is not the same team on the road overall. They are the 2nd best road scoring team in the league, but they give up a ton of goals on the road. Arizona on home ice has given up almost 2.2 goals against per game on average here. Expected goals is very good. They limit high danger chances. They're a very good defensive hockey team on home ice overall. They've won 2 straight, both shutouts here. Really like Arizona here on home ice against Ottawa. I prefer the Arizona side of this game. It is a 6.5 total. It's basically a pick 'em as Vegas has it right now. Give me this Arizona Coyotes here. Clayton Keller, Schmaltz, Kerfoot. All those guys have great price points. Nick Schmaltz is back, 5K flat. Should play 18 to 21 minutes, somewhere in that ballpark. Clayton Keller, 6.1K. His price is finally down. Very reasonably priced there. Logan Cooley is a value play, 3.9K on that top power play unit, I think is fine. JJ Moser, top line, top power play, 3.9K, one of the best values on the slate. Ottawa is bottom 3rd in the league against D-men, so I really like that. Kerfoot, 3.5K, one of the best values on the slate here, in my opinion, at 3.5K. Really like that. And then that second line continues to play pretty solid hockey, right? Makeli, Bjugstad, and Lawson Krause. So like the top 2 lines for Arizona here. I think they go overlooked, and I like Arizona to win this game as another late-night hammer against the Senators here, who are traveling to town. Another team I like quite a bit here is not the Oilers, who are on the road heading into New York here. It's actually the other flip retrospect. I like the Islanders here a little bit on home ice. Plus 120 home dogs here in this one. They're coming off back-to-back losses here, but I do like them to win here. Edmonton obviously won this game earlier this season, back a couple nights ago, or last month, November 13th, right? 4-1 in Edmonton. I think that flips here tonight. I like the Islanders to win this game. overall. Islanders last game was on the 16th here, had a couple nights off after losing back-to-back to Boston, to Montreal, 2 games where they were offensively there, but defensively they were not there. Obviously, draw a pretty tough task here with Connor McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman, and the boys coming to town. But I do like these guys. Bo Horvat continues to be favorably priced. Matthew Barzal, Anders Lee, all continue to be cheap. And then the second line, Brock Nelson is on an absolute heater right now. Really like him at 6.3K. He's got 2 cheap line mates in Kyle Palmieri and Engvall. Palmieri correlates with him on that top power play unit as well. So New York 1, New York 2, really like them both here. I prefer them to the Edmonton side in this game. It is a 7 total. I expect goals to be both ways, and I expect the ownership to go to the Edmonton side. So I really like the Islanders in this spot here tonight. Another team I'm looking at here is Buffalo at home against Columbus. Columbus bleeds goals to everywhere here. Rasmus Dahlin, 6.1K for him. Great D-man play. Gets the second best matchup in all of the NHL behind D-man against San Jose, which we already talked about. 6.1K for him. You could get away with Dahlin and Doughty pairing. They could both get you 20-plus DraftKings points, 6.1K, and then Doughty sub 5K there. So good plays there. JJ Peterka, 4.8K, continues to be pretty cheap, averaging nearly 4 shots in goal per game over the last 5. He's a second liner, top power play unit. His 2 line mates, Middlestat and Cousins, have solid price points. But this top line with Alex Tuch, Zach Benson, and Tage Thompson here, 7.3K for Thompson. He's not been good since he's returned back from the IR, but if there's any spot to break out here, it's against Columbus, where they ranked dead last in the league against centers. Thompson has smashed Columbus last year. He put up 70 where he scored 5 goals last year. He's got 6 goals in 2 games last season against this Columbus squad. I like the bounce back spot for Tage Thompson here. Even as a one-off, you can use him. Really like that. Dylan Cousins gets the same matchup right at 4.3K. Second liner, second power play, he's fine. Casey Middlestat, 4.3K. That second line overall with Cousins, Casey Middlestat and Peterka is overall super cheap here. Get great matchup. So Buffalo, obviously great plays here on home ice against Columbus, who bleed goals on the road. Last team I'm going to look at here is Tampa. Tampa in this game at home against St. Louis. Great spot here. Nikita Kucherov, one of the best one of the best spend ups on the entire slate. 9.5K. I prefer him to McDavid. I prefer him to Draisaitl. I prefer him to Pasternak. Some of the top end guys that Rantanen, McKinnon, some of the top end guys that are people are going to go to. Really like Kucherov here. Stamkos has been playing great hockey. 6.8K. If you can't get all the way up to Kucherov, 6.8K for Stammer, who's almost $3,000 cheaper than Kucherov. Gets the same matchup against St. Louis here. Top power play unit as well. So I like that. Brandon Hagel's got a fair price point. Anthony Cirelli at 2K flat. I'll touch on him once we get to value plays. Skate next to Hagel and Stamkos here against St. Louis. I like that. Nicholas Paul, top line, top power play at sub 4K. I'll touch on that as a value play. He's averaging over 20 minutes per game over the last 5, averaging over 2 shots on goal per game. He's one of the best value centers on the entire state, especially skate next to Braden Point and Nikita Kucherov. So Tampa is going to round out my 5th favorite stack on the slate. Some other teams that are obviously going to get a ton of ownership here. Colorado, super chalky here. I'm going to be underweight on Colorado, just taking a stance. Blackhawks underlying metrics have been pretty solid on home ice here. Obviously, Colorado, very, very offensive powerhouse. But over the last 10 games on the road, they're the 25th best scoring offense in the league, 17th best offense in terms of expected goals. So I'm going to be underweight on that chalk. The chalk I much rather go to is the Kings in a much better spot. So I'm going to be underweight on that, and then underweight on the Bruins as well, who should pick up some ownership here at home against Minnesota. Minnesota's numbers have turned around. They've figured it out defensively. They just struggle offensively, which obviously we saw a bunch last year. So underweight on the Bruins, underweight on the Avs, overweight on the Kings in terms of the chalk. And then obviously the other stacks that I did bring up, I have a ton of interest in as well. Jumping into some value plays, best value play on the slate here, in my opinion, is Nicholas Paul from the center position. Again, brought it up, top line, top power play against St. Louis here, who ranks bottom half of the league in terms of matchups against centers. Top line, top power play with two great line mates in a solid matchup here. Do like Nicholas Paul quite a bit at 3.8K. Another guy, Morgan Frost here. Philly, I think, is a little bit sneaky on this slate against New Jersey. Jersey at home, but their home numbers in terms of defense, they've been allowing goals. Morgan Frost, 3.7K, getting second line, top power play unit. He's playing 15 to 17 minutes. He's averaging over 3 shots on goal per game. He's been playing pretty solid hockey as of late. 3.7K, I think he's a fine value play. Going back to my favorite chalk stack of the night is going to be Pierre-Luc Dubois here for the LA Kings on the road, third line. He's skating next to Lafreniere and Kaliev, getting power play time, 14 to 16 minutes expected. Pierre-Luc Dubois here, pretty solid hockey player overall. I like him at 3.7K. And then the last value center I will bring up on the slate is going to be Kevin Hayes here on the other side of Tampa. Again, Tampa can be scored on. He's a third liner, playing 15 to 17 minutes. He's averaging over 3 shots on goal per game, getting power play time. Jake Neighbors and Tropichenko are his two line mates here. Kevin Hayes, 3.3K, I think is fine. He's coming off a pretty solid week of hockey. 10, 11, 3, 22, 3, and 20 are his game logs over the last 6 games. I think you can go back to well at him at 3.3K here. Tampa ranks 22nd in the league against centers as well. Jumping into some value wings on the slate. First guy I will bring up from the chalk of the slate was going to be Miles Wood here. If I'm going to the Avs, it's going to be these cheap Avs, like guys like Ross Colton, Jonathan Drouin, Miles Wood. That second line preferred if I go to them. So Miles Wood at 3.4K, I think he's fine. He's playing 13 to 15 minutes only. But when he's out there, he's active, averaging 2.5 shots on goal per game over the last 5, averaging nearly 9 DraftKings points per game over that stretch as well. So at 3.4K, in a great matchup here against Chicago, I think he's fine. Really like Pierre Engvall here. Talked about liking the Islanders on the other side of this Edmonton game. 7 total, 3K flat for Pierre Engvall. Skating next to Brock Nelson and Kyle Palmieri. That second line is absolutely in fuego right now for the Islanders. Pierre Engvall, 3K flat, $500 over min price. I like him quite a bit here tonight. Another value, Colton Sissons for Nashville on home ice here, getting top power play time. He's got great success against Vancouver. He scored a goal in both their games this year back in October to start the year. 3.9K for him. I do like that, getting top power play time here on home ice. So Colton Sissons. And then the last value wing I will bring up is going back to Arizona here. Third liner at home here, Jason Zucker. This guy's averaging over 2 shots on goal per game, playing over 17 minutes, which is pretty solid for his 3.6K price point. So Jason Zucker going to round out my value wings on this slate. Let's jump into some value D-men here, sub 4K D-men. First guy, Connor Murphy here, should be able to block a ton of shots against Colorado. Colorado should be firing the puck a ton. He's got a pretty solid floor, blocking shots. He's shooting the puck when he's out there. Hasn't scored under 8 DraftKings points in the last 8 games. So I do like Connor Murphy quite a bit at 3.6K. He's my favorite value demon on this slate. Another value demon you can go to is Matthias Samuelsson here for Buffalo. Top liner against Columbus. Again, gets the second best matchup on the slate. Demon against Columbus here. 10, 9, 7 DraftKings points in his last 3. He's playing 22 to 24 minutes. Minutes in this matchup lead to fantasy production. So I do think he's fine at 3.4K. I like him. JJ Moser for Arizona, top line, top power play, 3.9K in a matchup against Ottawa. I do like that. JJ Moser, solid play here. He's playing over 21 minutes as well. Do like that. And then the last guy I'll bring up is Mike Riley for the Islanders here. He's playing 19 to 21 minutes. He's averaging over 2.5 shots on goal per game over the last 5, 3.8K for him. You can also go to a guy like Alex Romanov here for New York Islanders as well, who's been very good at 3.7K. So a pair of Islanders D-men in this matchup against Edmonton, I do like as well. In terms of goalies on the slate, a very interesting goalie play here is Ilya Sorokin here. Like I said, I like the Islanders in this spot against Edmonton. I think Edmonton's going to draw all the ownership. Sorokin, who's been very good, even in that game where he let up 3 goals against Edmonton earlier this year, he still scored 9 DraftKings points. Now he's at home here. I could see Islanders, like I said, stealing this game, him getting you that 35 save and a win, which would be huge at a 7.4K price point. So in GPPs, definitely going to take a shot or two on Ilya Sorokin here. Cam Talbot's going to be the chalk of the slate in terms of goalies, 8,400 for him against the Sharks. King should win this game. He'll probably be 20 to 30% ownership. Do have interest in him if you're spending up at 8.4K. Cam Talbot. Another goalie here on home ice is Saros versus Vancouver here. Tough matchup, but the upside is there in terms of saves. 26, 13, 25, 31, 28, 17. He's won 6 straight games as well here. Back-to-back home wins against Philly and Washington. He beat Tampa 5-1 at home. Picked up 3 road wins in there as well. So 7.6K for Saros. With how he's playing right now and seeing the puck in terms of goalies, I do like that quite a bit. And then the last guy I will bring up here is Connor Ingram, 7.8K, another sub-8K goalie on the slate. I like Arizona. I like a home goalie that's 8K or sub 8K here. Connor Ingram, who's been pretty solid. Even in that loss against Pittsburgh, he still put up 21 DraftKings points where he gave up 3 goals. So Arizona gives up a ton of shots. Ottawa should be firing the puck. Connor Ingram can pick up a lot of saves here. I do like that. That's going to do it for this edition of the NHL Quick Hit. Again, as always, all my final content, slate plan, core plays will be live. ShipItNation.com if you are not a member. Head over to ShipItNation.com, click on Join Now, and get in the best community in the industry for the cheapest all-in rate in the industry as well. But good luck tonight in your contest. Hope to see those Ship It Nation logos at the top. For myself, Nadesify, let's ship it.